Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. You will remember this from a previous video. Yes, it's because I talked about this adapter and of course the enclosure I subsequently made for it. Ooh, it still works well. But the problem I had with this is that with my PC Engine I only have one game and it's Super something. I think a few of you recognise this. It was some sort of weird board game SimCity thing, which is no good to anyone. So, hoink! In order to solve my little dilemma, I ordered something off Tinterweb, and it arrived today in this box. Now, this is something that you can find from Wish.com or eBay or AliExpress and all the usual places, and it's some sort of Everdrive clone. It's a PC Engine Everdrive. And interestingly enough, it came with a free gift. So I think let's just cover the free gift first because, would Sir be interested in a watch? Well, Sir would. A free watch at that. It is it looks like it says Gemius Army in there. It's a Gemius Army watch. And yes, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed because I certainly didn't order that, but that's a kind of a neat thing to have as a little free gift, something to give to the Sprogs. Interestingly enough, it actually has the battery tab and everything in there, so don't give it to, well, give it to somebody you don't like as a gift. That could be a really disappointing, your retirement gift. 60 years working for the company. So let's have a look, see what these are like. I've seen them priced up all sorts of prices. So they seem to go from £45 if you're going to bring one in from the Far East. Or there are some enterprising folk on eBay who are in the UK and they're selling them for about £60. So take your chance really, depends on how long you want to wait for it. I'm very impatient, so I wanted it immediately. And look, you've got some stickers. You can put some stickers on there. You can either put the turbo sticker or this one. I think this one's the one I would choose. Maybe some RGB LEDs in there could be quite interesting. So you have a switch on the front here that says TG16 or PCE. So I guess there's a difference in turbo graphics, 16-bit, who knows. Reset button at the front. And apparently it does have a micro SD card, 8 GB, that is full of games, so we'll be figuring that out. There also seems to be a bit of detritus on the micro SD holder, a bit of skin there, or something gross. So yeah, I don't really want that in there, so I'm going to just get my little tweezers, get rid of that. And on the back, I've seen this logo. If you look on the pictures, you'll see this weird little maple leaf here. Turbo V1.8 2020 110. Wow, January 2020. Fairly recent build. And on top, we're seeing an Altera Max 2 FPGA. We're seeing a 50 megahertz crystal. You're seeing a AM 3V3, 3 volt regulator, 3V3 regulator, and a bit of flash memory. I'll zoom in on that because I know some of you like to know how big that flash memory sometimes is. That'll normally contain the operating system for that, but maybe it might serve as a cache for the games off the SD card. I kind of feel it won't, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it will be addressable enough, unless maybe it's a NOR, not an AND. Could be, you know, but who cares? What we want to care is what it's like inside the machine. Oh! But before we jump the gun, let's see how do we get our turbo sticker on it. So that's the machine. That is how it'll fit. And oh, it fits really nice. Look at that. That is perfect. And I like that it's got a lid on it. I've seen some that don't have the lid on it. Let's see how we get this sticker. Yeah, I'm wondering if you've got individual letters on that, because that would be a nightmare to put individual letters down. Ah, there. They are individual letters, but it seems to have some sort of backing, so we've got some chance of getting this right. Oh, no. Okay. So let's put that. I reckon that's where I want it. Turbo. I'm going to squish it around. This is exciting. I've never had to apply something like this. Not since maybe putting some transfers. Do you remember transfers? If you're making your model bomber kit or something, you always had transfers back in the day. Not sure what happened to those. They were a pain though. Oh, yeah. That looks pretty good. There's a little bit of gunk on the O, but I'm just going to use the stickiness. Yes, that works. Just use its own stickiness against it. Last little bit in the R. Good. I think we're ready to experience the power of the turbo. I'm back. I know we're not looking at the games. Issue here, I was just setting up everything, pushed this in, and then realised that that wasn't working. You can see there. Yeah. And then I realised I hadn't pushed it home all the way, so I gave it a little bit more of a wiggle and got it in. But you can see, boom! It's turned into a micro SD card damaging system. So yeah, be really careful of that. So looking at this, all of the contacts are here on the top, which is, I guess, makes sense if you look at the original Who card. But if I turn over the back, I can see there's no tracking. So I don't think there are any traces there. You can see the traces here. I don't think there are traces there. So I think what I'm going to do is whittle this down a bit. But let's have a quick comparison to the original card in terms of the length. The length, to be honest with you, it's pretty much identical. But then that makes sense, of course, it would be, because the latch for the card lock, I don't know, it does actually sit over, it protrudes slightly. So it looks like we would benefit from taking a millimetre off this. So I'm going to try to take away as much as that chamfer. You can see they've put a chamfer along the edge here. That's how much I'm going to try to bring it in. I'm back. And I've whittled it down in the garage. So you can see I've taken off a little bit because the Made in China now is much lower to the edge of the board. I've slightly tried to shape the corners to make them a bit curvier on that edge. And you can see I've not gone too mad. There's still a little bit there. And there's a very tiny chamfer across there. Not as much as the original card. But I think once we've inserted this, we're not really going to want to insert and remove it too often. For me, I don't think it's ever coming out of this once it's working. So let's try that. Give it a little wiggle, push it in. Ah, that's what we want. Look at that clearance. So close. But just right. That's exactly what we want. Perfectly there. I might just sand even a tiny bit on the corner of the SD card here, just file it down, just in case it just touched it, it would just make sure it went in again. Right, let's try this again on the telly. You can see I'm being absolutely professional today. I've got my microphone set here and I've moved the camera to a tripod. This user interface though is really quite interesting because it looks totally 8-bit. It's the most 8-bit teletext type interface you can get. And if we zoom in on my wobbler camera, there we go, nice. You can see right away it comes up with a default interesting title. So if you've got kids like I do, that would be an interesting one. Wow, look how quickly it booted though. That was super quick. Oh, it's Street Fighter 2. Okay. I don't know what I was expecting from the name. Huh. Wow, that seems pretty standard to me. Ah, only 2 buttons. Right, let's reset that. You can see it was really quick. I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed now. I was expecting some raunchy title there. Okay, let's go into another menu. So when I push the 1 button, it seems to come up with a software screen showing you the firmware. So this is probably the firmware of whichever project they pinch this from. But maybe you can update it, maybe you can't. I really don't know. But it doesn't seem to matter at this point because you can just go in and start playing the games. What was fantastically interesting though is I've never seen Street Fighter 2 on a PC engine, and you think, wow, that's like an 8-bit version, which is pretty cool. So let's see, there are 10 pages in here. Atomic Robo Kid! Yes, that's what I'm going to need to play in a second. And if I push 2, it doesn't do anything. 1 goes back to the menu. So 1 is like back in this case. And there seems to be, and 2 is obviously select, there is 10 pages in each of these. It would have been nicer if they showed you the letters here, you know, so you knew which alphabetically these things were listed from. But I suspect if you go in that micro SD card, you'll be able to see what all of those folders contain and maybe rename them. And then there's all these other weird things. It's just absolutely chock full of ROMs and different variations. So I know a lot of these games used to be available only in Japanese, for example, so there's probably ports and things here. Oh, look at that. R-Type. R-Type Tai Sang version. R-Type U. R-Type Part 2. Rabio Olympus Special. Right, so there's a lot there. So let's see if I can hunt out that particular title, which was Atomic Robo Kid, because that's a game I really like, one of my special. And we're going to go for the special ones. Start. Oh, that was run I pressed there. Do not turn off the system. That was a different message than last time. Run again. There we go. Oh my word, look how fast it is. This version's hilarious. Oh, that is hilarious. I can definitely still hear the same music and everything. Now, I don't know what this TG16 switch did. Remember on the front here there was a TurboGrafx 16 switch. I'm going to turn it off. And at the risk of blowing up my system, I'm going to switch that and turn that back on and see what happens. Bad things. Don't do that. Let's see if it works after that. Phew-hoo! Phew-y. Well, there you go. So I think for the grand sum I paid of it, which I paid for the expedited shipping because I couldn't wait to have it come from the Far East, because I'd had basically every single thing I've ordered since COVID from the Far East has not turned up, so I couldn't risk that. I paid the extra 20 quid to get this for about £65 in the UK, and I think pretty much that's okay. I mean, I was really hesitant because it's an expensive price, but look at what you get. I mean, PC Engine games are crazy expensive, and I'll probably be able to recoup most of the money by selling my copy of this. So if you want to pay me £65 for this, please let me know and I'll ship that off to you. PayPal only. So have a look. I'll try to put some links down below. Often I put Amazon links because these things are transient on eBay. They're very ephemeral. So let me know how you get on, and if you've got one of these and there's other firmwares and things like that you've tried, let me know. We'll discuss it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't, or just like the video. That really helps. Come join me on my Discord or Patreon. As ever, thank you for watching.